Pick up. Welcome everyone to tonight's show. It revolves around one number, as you can see. Wait 1 second, too. I just saw a message from Lee. It is in the link is in the chat, but I will put it in again because I can now tell that people don't read my whenever in WhatsApp, you can leave a message, and uh, it only shows you maybe like the first portion of your message. And if you open the message and go all the way down, you'll see the end of the message, and that's where the link was. But it's all good. It's all good. Um, we are in for a fun trip tonight. Tonight's show revolves around one number, like I said, and that's the number 8. We all are very impartial to that number 8. For some, it reminds us of Steven Gerrard's. For some of us, it reminds us of maybe even Dominic Szoboszlai now. But for most of us, we are going to be brought into the recognition that 8 is a very important number, even if we might not have recognized the importance of it. And that is 8 transfer decisions, 8 potential exits, 8 contract situations. There's 8 youth prospects. There's 8 relegated player targets that we're subjugated to getting, possibly 8 lone players fighting for their futures. And Andoni Iraola's Liverpool rebuild is officially underway. And we are about to break down basically what I believe is the power of number 8. Big up to all that are joining us in the chat. Shout out to those that are going to watch this as well on X, and especially if you do, be sure to, if you do watch this on the replay, leave a comment. It helps out for the algorithm, and also it helps connect us to what your thoughts are, maybe what you like, what you don't like, or maybe just in general, just saying hello. So I do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. And big up. Oh, we are in a special episode today. As I said, we're in the rule of 8, and now we have a man that could wear the number 8 himself. Lee.
Yeah, gold. Yeah, I'm gold.
Good. I'm breaking down what we're going to be doing. There's somewhat of some updates that I can get into, because it's going to be just a walkthrough, basically the youth. It's going to be about our the prospects of these relegated players and the likes. But basically, there's a lot that's going to be unveiled in this upcoming business or work of business for us. And there's supposed to be the magic number of 8, but the 3 is supposed to be the magic number, but at least that's what the song says, at least. But tonight, this 8 should mean something, And what I mean by that is the first major story of the Iraola era appears to be gathering some momentum. Originally, it was said that we were out of the running for Yan Diamande. PSG was his preferred choice. It was being reported and saying that he's pretty much they're just working out the numbers so that he can get the transfer through. The first major story has changed, though. And what I mean by that is, for months, Liverpool supporters have heard whispers, scouts, monitoring, interest, blah, 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 right? But now things appear to have moved beyond admiration. It appears that we are more importantly really looking at this player as our top prospect. And we are believed to be in the strongest position to sign the player. That matters because Liverpool aren't alone. Obviously, I said PSG are in the loop, and Enrique, having shown interest is important, because they're looking at possibly Barcola moving on to, maybe I heard Arsenal maybe is the place that Barcola might be headed towards. It makes some multiple reports suggest Diamande currently favors Liverpool, though, and I think that is important to note. I mean, I'm excited about that. You know, it's exciting to know that you're first on in someone's heart that might be joining you. You know, oh, and also we bring in JK too. Big up JK. Don't
Hi,
want you
bro. Hi, Lee and 12. Hope you're cool. Hi,
Right.
Hugo. All good, bro. All good. Interesting times. That's on the
interesting.
chat as well.
Yeah, yeah. Big up to Adam. Big up to Hylor.
Adam, yeah.
Um, um, it's important, by the way, because and big up to Lone Sheep who just tuned in.
That's Lone Sheep,
It's important. It's important because there's for several reasons. And just give me a chance to get through these, then I'll just get you guys into the conversation. First, Liverpool reportedly have the strongest financial package currently on the table. Second, there is the opportunity now that Mohamed Salah is no longer with the team. There is genuine interest in the player to have a pathway to the first team, obviously. And finally, there is timing. Diamande reportedly wants his future resolved before the World Cup. That creates urgency. That creates a sense of either you get it done now or I'm going to go to the World Cup and that's that. And then I'll be returning back to Germany. And Leipzig, meanwhile, are doing what Leipzig do. They're quoting ridiculous numbers. The quote now is over 130 million euros. But if history has taught us anything, Leipzig opening asking price is rarely their final asking price. We've seen this before. We've seen negotiations being drug out. We've seen release clauses activated. We've seen compromises reached. The bigger question becomes whether Diamande is actually Iraola's number one choice. Because if he isn't, then Liverpool appear to have alternatives lined up. I said Barcola. I think Barcola is going to Arsenal. There's Antonio Nusa. There's Buzamana Torre. There's Nico Williams. There's Adam Wharton. And I'm not saying that they're all for the same position. I'm just saying as in like the first name to prioritize getting through the door. So that brings us to the first question for tonight in our illustrious panel. If Liverpool can sign one marquee player this summer, should it be Yan Diamande as that priority?
I would say yes, definitely. I think we probably have a few bob to spend, so I think it'd be wise to. It seems other clubs are interested, which well they might be, like given the season he's had. So yeah, I'd be happy for him to be our marquee sign, and the others to be signings of a lesser fee, a lesser nature, maybe even like But him, I would spend a good few bob on Yan Diamande. And then, the alternative is that we don't pay that sort of money for anyone and we buy all the players we buy for like lesser fees. But I think we'd be okay to go out of our way with the fee for him, pay a good sizable fee for him, and then have enough left, I think, to bandage up the rest of the squad where it needs bandaging up.
How about for you, JK?
I'm like a lone sheep. Like when you're asking that much money for a 19-year-old who's not really done anything, he got a lot of assists last season. He had a good season, don't get me wrong. But so did John Flanagan. You know what I mean? I like that Fernandez lad from West Ham. We need wingers, don't get me wrong. But I just think, for me, I'd get in that Fernandez from West Ham. Maybe Barcola from PSG. This lad saying I've liked PSG since I was a kid. My father supported them as well. I don't need them type of players at my club. So I got through. I don't really want that type of player at my club, bro. It's the here and now. The players under Klopp, they used to come and they said, you know what, you've got me for the next 7-8 years. No problem. We're reaching an era now where guys can come in and say, you know what, I've been here 3 years, I want to go now. I don't want them type of players in the club. So if this lad saying PSG, I supported them, that's no problem. My dad supports them, this, that, and the other. If they want him, they're going to get him. That's how I see it. We need a winger, don't get me wrong.
Would you?
Sorry, I was just going to say what Hargo's mentioned in the comments about Real Madrid and Elise. It's that time of year, isn't it, for the presidential elections for Real Madrid? So you're going to get, one candidate saying, "Oh, I'll bring him in," another candidate saying, "I'll bring another fella in," and all that.
Klopp and Elise Haaland. John Brian was saying I'm going to get you Klopp, the one who wants to come in as president. It's like, no wonder it's the same as politics. This bullshit that's going on now. I'll promise you, I'm going to lower the rates of water, electricity, and when they come in, they double the bastards. So, So what's football becoming, man? It's a soap opera. I don't like that soap opera world of football. We don't need it. If they want to do it, let them carry on. But for me, we've got our own team to sort out. And for me, I need some solidness in the team. So I'm going for that Fernandes. I like Gibbs White. I reckon Gibbs White is a tough little cookie. Winger-wise, the fee that's the stumbling block for me. If this lad was 50, 60 million and we can start Gapco and get that money in, no problem, bro. 100 odd million for this brother. I've seen some videos of him. I've seen him play a few times. He's a good little player, don't get me wrong. But 19-year-old at that price, football's going the wrong way, bro.
I think what was unique about this conversation is that, yesterday I was talking about Vinny. Actually, I brought up Vinny since he was in the news, and albeit it was a speculative assertion about Vinny leaving Real Madrid, but I honestly think, though, I even heard Steve Nichols speak about this as well on ESPN FC. He brought up the thought that he was asked, well, if you have a case of with the case of Mbappe, what do you do with the player, because he scored. It's not like Mbappe had a bad season, Did he have the height of the season that they were able to obviously win La Liga? No, but he certainly did produce numbers this season. And what was being said is that Mbappe wants to certainly be on that left wing. That's his preferred position. And that means that you have to do something with Vinny Jr. because Mbappe and Vinny can't play on the same side of the pitch, obviously, in the same position. So, you could be looking at some tough decisions. I know Real Madrid's going through some with this president push. There's going to be some big promises made. And I don't think it's just funny how Real Madrid said, you could have a president be as bold as to say, if you elect me president, I'm going to not only bring in a different coach than the coach that is been called out to be Real Madrid's next coach, which is Mourinho. They're talking about bringing in, like you said, Klopp, or maybe even bringing in some other Enrique. And then also he's made, I heard the assertion that he's going to bring in Haaland, like you said, and the last time I looked, Haaland's on a long-term deal, making ridiculous amounts of money, So I'm not saying that Haaland wouldn't want to go to play Real Madrid. I know that he has shown or said some interest in such, but I mean, realistically, Manchester City's not just going to, open the door and allow for them to, take their prized forward away for peanuts. When's the last time you saw Real Madrid actually pay
exactly
for a player?
And that's why, for me, bro, quickly about Helio saying about Bayern Munich after Elise 150 million. If Bayern Munich said, "Oh, we'll give you that 150 million we got for Elise,"
no, you mean not Bayern Munich after Elise. Bayern Munich has Elise. You mean
no, Real Madrid after Elise.
Real Madrid, yeah.
And Bayern Munich are after Rio. I'll sell Rio for 150 million tomorrow, no problem. Why? He's potential. He's not guaranteed potential, but he's potential, and he can go either way. And even if we do sell him in 3 years' time, we might not even get 150. Might get, say, if we get 200. But that's a risk as well, and that's a gamble. So if they're already offering,
would you do a straight swap deal then? Maybe for if you're rating him for 150 million, would you do a straight swap deal for Rio and Elise? Okay.
Oh, that's a bit of a yeah.
JK got quiet real quick, huh?
No. But you got to think before you answer, bro. Otherwise, you get in trouble. Right now, how old is Elise, by the way? Quickly.
I don't know top of my head.
If he's about 25,
I think he might be 26. Michael Elise.
Yeah. 26, yeah. Rio's 17, 18. Rio, even if he stays 3 years, Real Madrid become knocking, he'll go there. So for me, I'm not going to wait for Rio to shine in 3 years. I'd rather have Elise. Yeah.
He's 24.
There you go. Yeah, I'll do that. No problem. Bang. Yeah. Rio's going to be good, don't get me wrong, but it could take him a bit of a while. Because for me, what does he do when he comes on the pitch? Realistically, he scores a couple of goals. He don't set no one up. You know, I like Rio. He's enthusiastic. But for me, he needs someone to guide him now. He needs a coach to say to him, listen, when you get that ball, I don't want to see MC Hammer business. I want to see a bit of drive and get that ball to the number 9. That's what I miss from our wingers, bro. I want to see that from Rio this season. He shows promise cutting in. Gapco does that, you know. But he's going to be a good player, don't get me wrong. But for me, a winger has to take guys on and deliver that ball to someone to score goals. That's, for me, a winger. If you can't do that, all the MC Hammer dancing ain't really great.
Are you, Lee, are you going in, if we had the opportunity to go for Elise, would you pay 130 million for him?
Yeah, if we could afford it, like, if we could do the deal. Be an excellent replacement for Mo Salah and all the left-footed guys who are, like, definitely left-footed, like, who are out there. He's the one for me that I would like. It's just getting them off buying at this moment in time. Despite us having a new manager and we're all excited, I'm not sure that'll make much difference to Michael Elise where he is now. Things are going well. They only just about missed out on the Champions League final, really. They weren't beat by much by PSG, were they? So they'll probably want to go again with the players that they've got. They won the Bundesliga, as well, quite well this season, won it in style. So I don't see how he'd be leaving or Kane or Diaz right now. I can only see additions for them rather than departures. I mean, there will be departures of buying, but I don't think he's going to be one of them. Michael Elise, not this summer.
But you never know with Real Madrid. Yeah, it's a bit pricey. Like, for me, he's a good player, Elise, don't get me wrong, but he ain't worth 200 million or anything like that. 150. Let's be real, yeah. He's a good player, but come on, man. These prices are getting out of hand. When Diamande is costing you 100 as well, that's just madness, bro. That's mad.
Yeah, I mean, the Diamande thing is a different story. I can understand that. That's a player that's had 1 year of success at the helm. But it could also mean even if you were to, let's say, not make a deal for him now and he goes to the World Cup, you chance the opportunity of him shining in the World Cup and then making even more of a shout for, the demands of a high price for the player. So
True, but I don't know, man. It's just still pricey for me. How much we got to spend this summer? Are we looking at a DM? Because, for me, yeah, we need wingers, don't get me wrong, but a DM is, for me, the number 1 position. For me, even if Rio played on the right wing, we've got someone to play right wing, don't get me wrong. But a DM, as soon as we get a DM, I'm going to be happy. A couple of midfielders. I'd sell Szoboszlai. I was saying this on Quasi's show. I'll sell Szoboszlai and McAllister tomorrow. if I could.
Okay.
Yeah. And then build from that.
And then who are you bringing in?
You know, get Fernandez in, get even Elliot Anderson in, and then get your wingers. So I'd sell Szoboszlai as well, and McAllister.
Okay.
It's clear out season, bro. Because why?
Is it?
I see players who dance with the opposition. Like McAllister's always gave me Real Madrid vibes or whatever. Szoboszlai straight away, Ronaldo, his favourite player. The way he acts, his fashion shoots and stuff like that. He's made for Real Madrid. He's that type of guy. Same as Trent. You know what I mean? Kanate now, you watch Kanate, how he's going to start dressing and all that. He's in a different ball game now. You know what I mean? And Szoboszlai's built for that. That's why I'll get rid of Szoboszlai tomorrow.
You're saying Szoboszlai needs to go because of the way he's dressing?
Nah, that just adds to it. But just the way he's not Liverpool. He's Ronaldo, Real Madrid, that type of fella. You know what I mean?
Okay. You think he's too Hollywood, maybe, or something, I guess.
Yeah, too Hollywood. He's just like Real Madrid written all over it, bro. Come on, man. We've been in the game a long time. And you know when you know which players are dancing with the opposition. And he's that brother there. The only reason for me he stepped up last season is because he realised Gravenberch and McAllister were the better midfielders. The season we won the league. And Florian Wirtz just walked through the door. I better book my ideas up. And he did it last season. Fair play, he did it. But he would never say no to Real Madrid tomorrow if they came knocking. 100%. And before that bullshit goes on, he's in his last season. Where's he going? Is he signing a new contract? Bollocks. Because I've had enough of that crap. We need to sort that Szoboszlai situation out.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Are you on the same page, Lee?
No, not with Dom.
Okay.
With Mac, yeah, I've had enough of Mac. Like he dropped off too much last season. For me, Dom's definitely got a future. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing sometimes just play with Wirtz, like sort of on the left wing, Szoboszlai in the middle, then two behind them. Could be Gravenberch and a new DM that we buy. That might help us. We could put Diamandi, say, on the right wing, because apparently he's good on his left foot as well. Like, you know, good enough that he could play that role reasonably and use his left foot a lot. Like, so, yeah.
But the thing is, he's 19, Lee. Can you see him doing a Salah? I'm going to stay here for 9 years. Nah. As soon as he smashes it in the Premier League, he's going to go. We'll make money on him. But how much is he going to go for then? 300 million? Like,
who's this now? Wait, who? Who are you talking about?
Diamandi.
Oh, Diamandi.
The guy's 19.
You think Diamandi has I mean, wasn't Diamandi?
He didn't give me, I'm going to stay with Liverpool for 10 years vibes. When he's coming out with my father's a PSG fan and all that bollocks. No. So that's what football for me is different to a lot of people. I'm not going to have a guy coming in like he's on holiday for a couple of years and then shoot off to Madrid or Barcelona or whatever. I want players like Salah. I want players like that. Virgil van Dijk. I'm here for the long run. 9 years. Bang. That's why I respect Salah. I don't care what anyone says about Salah, but at least that brother was loyal. You know, he knew where his bread was buttered. There you go. So that's what football is now, bruv. You've got to be cold. Szoboszlai Charbella, no problem.
I think that might be Norm in the chat, I think.
Yeah, that's Norm, yeah.
Oh, hi, Norm. Long time no see, bro. I was thinking about you the other day, man.
Yeah. Hope that you're well, brother.
See, the thing with like Mo staying for like nearly 10 years, it was like not an anomaly, but you don't get that a lot now in football. Came, I suppose, just the right time. Maybe he could have come a bit earlier, but he came just at the right time. We got close to a decade service out of him, you know, for such a good fee as well. And he really loved playing under Klopp. Obviously, that changed in his final season. I mean, he was still happy in Slot's first season because he was breaking records, but last season he wasn't happy, obviously, and he verbalised that towards the end of the season by coming out and speaking. But they're, like I said, more of an anomaly are those type of deals where you get a player and they play them, stay and play for a decade. They're a fixture in the side for a full decade. Because he wasn't fixture in the side, he was in it like every second he was fit, every moment he was fit, he was in the side basically up until this season, like when things dropped off a bit. But I wouldn't hold that against Diamande, that maybe, you know, you're not looking at him being here in 10 years' time. Say if we signed him, and if you were able to move him on again for a big fee, then that's just part of football, isn't it? Like sometimes you might lose your best players to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona.
Right.
But there's not many big clubs, there's not many bigger clubs that can come in and just take players from us. Not in this day and age. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. We let you take players, we don't want them anymore, but if we still want them and they're under contract, then it's going to be harder for you. So many players' contracts like wind down. Curtis is now in the final year of his. We had Ibu and Strent walk away for nothing. So we've got to get busy with making sure we don't lose players for nothing, because that's sustainable. You do have to bring some money in for your players. Like,
there you go. About Norman, I know he's my brother. Look what he wrote as well. He was told McAllister and Soboslai. He's a Virgo. He knows what he's on about, man. It's true. He wrote it.
Good, you can read out. You can read out what he had to say.
Hi, 12, Lee and JK. Bless up Helio and chat. Have you all well? On the missus' account, lots of our players have become better in their heads than they actually are. McAllister and Soboslai, I'd like to see leave. Boom, there you go. Exactly spot on. Old school Liverpool fans, we know. We don't want them type of players at the club, man. Hence why if we can get a big fee for Soboslai tomorrow, get it done. Get it done, man. And build with that. Get Fernandez in, Gibbs White even. Toughen that midfield up.
Okay. All right. It's good to see Norm back in the chat. Hyler saying also, do you see Arne Slot rejected a job offer from Fulham?
Oh, he did? Okay.
Okay.
I knew there was a link.
Does Arne Slot think he's too good for Fulham? Okay, that's very interesting.
I think it is. Yeah.
I don't think he is. I think Fulham's an excellent job. It'd be a great job for him.
Yeah, I think Fulham's a decent club. I mean, Marco Silva did well with them, considering the budget and the size of the club and all that one. Fulham have been quite safe in the Premier League for some time now. But maybe he wants to go back on the continent, leave England, which would probably be the best thing, like, for him, you know what I mean, to have a clean break from the Premier League, then maybe come back one day in the future if he wanted. But we just don't know, do we? I hope it works for him wherever he goes. This is why I prefer him to probably go outside the Premier League, then I can fully support him in his new endeavour, because he won't be coming up against.
Yeah.
You're trying to find a reason to support him, basically.
He needs to go to a decent team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, bro, I'm not a big fan of his management. What he did at Liverpool for me was a catastrophe, and I hope he's learned from that. He was his own worst enemy. No matter what, as soon as you manage Liverpool and you win a Premier League, you're gonna get a job, no problem, bro. So don't worry about your persona and your image and all that, because at the end of the day, the fans are gonna love you because you're winning trophies for them, and that's where your image gets built up.
Very true. Very true. Very true. I guess it's just I guess the rebuild isn't necessarily happening in isolation. I think that, like, obviously there's a lot of areas of the team that need to be addressed, and every signing impacts each other positions, very similar to what Hyler's saying about the dominoes falling. I mean, there's individual dominoes for teams and there's individual dominoes for just players. You know, the first player to get signed might be actually, you know, open up the opportunity for you to do this or do that with the next acquisition that you're trying to sustain for your team. But if we're talking about ringtones, or if we're talking about the report suggesting that Iraola may be preparing to tear this squad apart before he rebuilds it, that's the other 8. There's 8. The number 8, I'm going to say it quite a bit. The number 8 is very important tonight because every new manager talks about standards. Every new manager talks about accountability. You know, some managers talk, others act. And if these reports are accurate, Iraola intends to act on his statements. He intends to definitely be strong with his assessments and his determination to get certain things accomplished with this team. And reports are suggesting that there could be up to 8 Liverpool players that could find themselves available for transfer this summer. Some names that are expected are Federico Chiesa, Joe Gomez, Bartolo Endo, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, McAllister, Gakpo, and is that 8? And Marmadashvili. I think that's 8. That's 8. Yeah. Because Chiesa, Gomez, Endo, Elliott, Jones, McAllister, Gakpo, and Marmadashvili. Yes, that's the 8. Because we now have terms that Ali is going to stay, which is fantastic. But before everyone loses their minds, let's separate rumor from reality, because there's a massive difference between players available for offers and players that must leave. Those are not the same thing. Still, what stands out in the profile is that Iraola's football is intense. It's aggressive, it's physical, it's relentless at times. His teams run, his teams press, his teams attack space. And if he feels players cannot execute those demands consistently, reputation won't save them from finding their way to the exit door. So Liverpool have already lost Salah, we've already lost Robbo, we've already lost Ibu. And the potential others on this list are great. That's 8 players, some of which people have already stated that they would want to see leave, some of which people maybe wouldn't want to see leave. I guess the question is whether Liverpool are entering a refresh or a complete reset. So which Liverpool player would shock you the most if Iraola sold them this summer? Lee, I'll ask you, which player in that list of 8 would shock you?
Shock me if he sold Sobbers, like. Wouldn't shock me if he sold Mac or Gakpo.
Dom's not in this list. I'll give you the list. Here, let me give you the list. Chiesa, Joey, Chiesa, Endo, Elliott, Curtis, McAllister, Cody, and Marmadashvili.
I'll probably go with maybe Mac. He's the highest profile name there in terms of he's probably the most regular starter out of them guys. There's Gakpo as well. But it probably shocked me. Like, although I want it, I've gone off Mac. I think his physique maybe is depreciated like now, and he's even slower than he originally was, which was tortoise speed anyway with Mac. So yeah. He's probably, when he's a World Cup winner and all that jazz, like, which the others aren't, he's a big name. So it wouldn't be something surprised to see him sold. But again, I would reiterate, I do want him sold because I've lost faith in him. We definitely need, if Gravenberch is to prosper next season and have a good season, it won't be at Mac's side. It has to be someone else for me. And certainly wouldn't be at Jesus' side either in a pivot balls to that. We need someone who can win the ball, someone with strength and mobility, just someone who can just bring that competitive, tough edge back to our midfield, the Fabinho brought. Because we never replaced with it. We still got Endo. I mean, you could look at it and think, I'll use Endo. I'll use him to win the ball, play him alongside someone. You never know. But maybe his own guy in such an important position as the 6. Because it is a very important position within the team. And especially if you want to get the best out of Florian Wirtz and Dominic Szoboszlai, the attacking midfielders, to get the best out of them, you've got to have a solid base behind them so they can attack. In the knowledge that it's locked up behind them, because we just didn't have that last season. We were flooding forward in midfield, and teams just were on. It was pathetic, really, the midfield this season. I just didn't understand it.
Well, Lone Sheep said something in the chat I saw. It says, we don't even know if these same players might perform better under a different coach. And you could say that, certainly. I think that most of them will, to be honest. I think most of them will. The odds are, I'm not saying there's no guarantees. but I do think most of them will, because I think most of them played well under a Klopp regime. Most of these players have all played under Klopp in one way or another for the most part, other than Chiesa. Chiesa didn't, but Joe Gomez, Wataru Endo, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones. You could argue Harvey Elliott had possibly his best season under Jurgen Klopp, a Jurgen Klopp system. Curtis Jones had a breakout season under Jurgen Klopp. McAllister possibly had some of his best seasons with Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. Cody Gakpo had his best season with Slot. That I'm not going to dispute, but he had decent seasons with the system that Klopp tried to instill in him. And obviously, Marmadashvili is a different story. He's a goalkeeper, and also he's a player that I'm not necessarily sold on being the answer at our keeper, but pretty much all those names are names that have shown that they've been responsive to that kind of high octane system. Yeah, but I'll ask you a different. I'll frame it a different way then for JK. Then, which players are supporters perhaps too emotionally attached to in that list of players that I gave? JK? No. If JK doesn't answer, then Lee, can you answer that question?
Which players out of which ones was it?
Out of the 8 players I said, out of the 8 players you had to choose from, who do you think the fan base is emotionally attached to that would be up in arms to see move on?
Gomez, Mamardashvili, McAllister, Gakpo. Who are the other ones?
Okay, give me 1 second. My headphones are about to die, so I'm trying to plug them in. Jones. I'll just put the list into the chat, so that way you can see the list. Hold on 1 second. All right, put this in here. So it's Chiesa, Gomez, Endo, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Alexa McAllister, Cody Gakpo, and Marmadashvili.
I would say people might have a certain amount of attachment to McAllister, Jones even. McAllister, Gakpo, Jones, and McAllister. The others, there was an attachment to Joe, but I think Joe's past his usefulness now in terms of his attempts to be fit and available. Mamardashvili hasn't been here that long. Chiesa, nice song. He's done okay a few times, but I mean, everything's pointing towards an exit for him. So I don't think anyone's going to be pulling their hair out over that. We've been expecting that. Yeah, that's it basically. I would say out of those names, Endo, people do like Endo, and he's not perhaps past his usefulness yet because Iraola might think it's okay to play with him and another person like alongside him. You never know. I don't think he will. In my heart of hearts, but yeah, Harvey, I think a lot of people are over that one now. Like they know that he needs to move for himself. If we go for the lad, yeah, I would probably say McAllister because McAllister's played the most games. Sort of like, well, Cody's probably played as many as McAllister, if not more. But after that, then McAllister. The others have all played bit parts, really, haven't they? Apart from Cody and McAllister, the others are only bit part players. Gio was more than a bit part player at one time, but that's all he's been now for several years, a bit part player, because he's just never fit.
Okay. How about for you, JK? Are you back?
Yeah, bro.
Who would
The
be
list there, yeah.
That's the list of the 8 players that are reportedly ready to be or are reportedly being considered to be moved on from.
To tell you the truth, I would keep Curtis.
Not who you keep. The question was, who do you think?
Who else out?
No. Who do you think that the fans are? Which player do you think is? Which player do you think is that we are emotionally attached to? That we would be kind of like,
yeah, Curtis and Gomez.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit for Chiesa. I'd love to see Chiesa play properly for us.
Mm-hmm.
But out of them 3, like I'm going to keep Gomez again. He's always injured, but he's part of the furniture now. You know what I mean? Harvey Elliott, another one. Would look to see him back in a Liverpool shirt, even though he's had a torrid sort of season. Everyone else, I've got no attachment to. Like Cody Gakpo, I've got an attachment. Even McAllister was my favourite midfielder last season. The season we won the league, McAllister was my favourite player probably. So it was a bit of a shame what he did this season. We'll see how he gets on in the World Cup. Same goes for Cody Gakpo as well. Big World Cup for them too. Endo, he'll be in the World Cup. I think Endo could move on, no problem. Yeah.
I agree with what Q said. I know, but then again, you might be surprised by some of the statements I have later on. So, but it's Alexi's had a down season, but doesn't mean I think that like sometimes just because you have one bad season doesn't necessarily mean that you're done, or like it's you got to move on from a player or sometimes if he fits your system or if he has the right credentials, meaning like the right sentiments, and is a player that helps with the other intangibles of the locker room or the other parts of like bringing players along or maybe team unity, and then it's a different story. Like there's some players that keep a team together, and you want them to play better, certainly, but they need to and have to, but those intangibles are important to me. But that's what it's the first time I've seen this name in the chat. Cute ball. It should be interesting if Iraola. I was just wondering who was the player. I agree that maybe Curtis Jones will probably be the name I think that I would say out of that list that maybe fans are maybe emotionally attached to say, hey, with the sentiments of he's a hometown guy and the fact that he's been with the team since he was a youth, and it's a sheer fact that a system like Iraola could be progressively more in tune with his game than Slot's game was, despite him saying the initial the initial statement that he had about Slot's game when he first arrived. But it could be one thing or another. Maybe so. We'll talk about Cosmic. We will talk about the youth. We're gonna have I have a section on some of the players that might make an appearance with us from the Youth Academy, but because I have just a particular segment on a particular player that signed with our team. But Curtis could go. Yes, he holds on to the ball too long, and even on the clock says loan sheet. I know that is his MO with a lot of people. Is he's never been able to shake that criticism of his game. But it is an interesting one. to see where we go. But speaking of contracts, I know yesterday Hyler brought up the thought about players that could go, and he brought up the fact that 8 players were on their last year of their contract. So I made up a little chart here that shows where these players are along their path in their contract. Okay, and the contract breakdown is that the contract situations decide obviously who football clubs commit to and the likes. No transfer rumors. There's no social media. There's just the contracts are set in stone. This is how they are. But Liverpool suddenly have several situations demanding some attention. Ryan Gravenberg could use possibly attention. He's and he got it. He's now sorted to 2032. Okay. That's fantastic. I definitely like gravy. I know some people aren't into biscuits and gravy, but but I do like gravy, and I think he is a exceptional player. Whether he's the DM or not, that's another conversation. I get that people don't necessarily believe he's the DM of choice, but 2032, it means that we have a lot of time to figure things out. It also means that we probably won't be working on a move for the player, considering that he's signed for so long. One less headache, but beyond him, questions are everywhere. Ali's deal expires in 2026 or 2027, excuse me. We extended it. It still requires some planning to figure out how we move on from Ali as well. Then we move into the 2027 category, which is what we were talking about. The 2027 category is this. Let me bring this up for you guys so you can see the actual chart here. Hopefully I made that big. Okay. I put the names of the players that are up. Obviously, the 2026, they're all those players except for maybe Woodman. I don't know. I haven't had an update. I didn't get an update on whether Woodman's staying or leaving. But he's our third keeper. And he's 29 years old. If he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. That's okay. But I'm not saying I don't rate him. It's just more of we can find someone to replace him. But the 2027 expires in 2027 is the bigger concern. If you really look at it, Salah, obviously no longer with us, but Virgil van Dijk, Ali, Gomez, Tsimikas, Curtis Jones, Endo, Bajcetic, all players that could go. And all entering periods where decisions cannot be delayed, obviously, until the last minute. Some of these are straightforward. Tsimikas, Endo probably are going to have their contracts either moved on or just allowed to be run out. Others are not. Curtis Jones remains one of the most fascinating cases at Liverpool. I talked about he's the local lad. He's the academy graduate. He's a useful player. I think he's a player that you keep. But somehow never fully established as an undisputed starter. Maybe he gets that chance. 25 years old now, he enters the stage of his career where sitting and waiting no longer makes sense. And then there's Virgil. Oh, someone's eating crisps or something like that in the background. Yeah, right. 25 years old, obviously like that, but I said now it's Virgil. Virgil through his story. He's 34. He's the captain. He's the leader. He's the face of Liverpool's dressing room. He is definitely the best center half in the world, and the club may eventually need to discuss another extension. But at what cost? How long? Under what role? So which Liverpool contract should Richard Hughes prioritize next in that list, do you think? I have my name that I would, but who would prioritize? JK? Oh, wait, maybe he was the one eating the crisps. Okay, so who would you prioritize then, Lee? See the list. Okay, yeah, I'll show you the list real quick again. In the 2027 portion of this list, Who are you prioritizing? Salah's already gone off the books, so we all understand that.
New contract.
Who would you prioritize in the 2027 list there? These are all players that are down to their last year under contracts.
Virgil van Dijk.
Okay, that was easy. There you go. It wasn't too hard.
Yeah, Virgil van Dijk. Maybe if Alisson can recover from his injury woes, he could have another season even.
Okay.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility if he were to recover his regular fitness again to a more, a better extent than it was this season, because we just didn't see it other than this season.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say with Alisson, if that's the way it's going to be with him now, where he's hardly ever fit, then yeah, it is time to make a change. But I want to make sure first he's got to have this season to show he can be better, he can be fitter, and then out of them, yeah.
Okay. Let's see if JK is back with us or not. Are you with us, JK?
Yeah, bro.
Okay. So then who would you prioritize in this list?
He'd probably be one of the two, or Virgil or Alisson. One of the two. Probably Virgil.
Probably Virgil. Okay.
To the end of next season then, yeah? Mm-hmm.
The 2027 means that their contract ends in June 2027.
Yeah, get Virgil.
Get Virgil in a new contract. Okay. I wonder who to chat. Harvey Elliott's contract runs out in 2027. Yes, it does. It does. Or I don't know if it does actually. I have to double check. I don't think it does, Hylor, actually. I do not believe it does. Where do I have Elliott on this list? I'd have to look on my list again. I think there's maybe. Sorry about that. I had to hit the back button by accident. Oh no! Now I got to bring on my images back. Now I accidentally dropped out. That's all good. I'll bring my images back into the fold. Hold on a second. I'll do this one by one. But all right. So again, Harvey Elliott, I believe, is 2027. I'd have to double check though. All the same. Who is basically the player that you not only would want to see, but who do you like? As I know, Virgil van Dijk is probably the most conservative answer, but I guess Ali would be a close second on that list then.
Yeah, I haven't lost faith in Ali yet. In that, I think that with a bit more luck on the injury front next season, he could be more readily available. And he's still one of the best around for my money, Ali. There's no doubt about that. When he's playing regularly, consistency, he's got no injury worries. He's still one of the best goalies around. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, sort of thing. And the less players we have leaving the club, in the one summer, the best. I don't want him going anywhere this summer, but potentially beyond. He could sign a new 1-year extension if things went well, which he could, could do.
Okay. How about for you?
Can you repeat the question, bro?
Who is the player then? Who else do you want to see get an extension on this list?
Florian Wirtz.
Okay.
Yeah. He's my favorite.
Oh well, Florian Wirtz is Not in 2027, but I get what you're saying. Who in 2027?
Oh. Yeah, Virgil, yeah.
Virgil, and then is there anyone else on the list that you want to
Alisson,
see?
for sure.
Okay, Ali.
Yeah, I've got to keep them two for the next 2 years. We have to.
Okay, they're definitely important players, no doubt. Let me bring this down. Well, I have by going out by moving out. I actually have lost all my graphics. I have all these graphics ready for us now. I have to bring them up one by one, but it's all good. I'll make it work. So I said that I would speak on every contract extension is important, and every contract is important to see have happen in the right direction. And we've seen a contract just recently get signed. We spoke about this yesterday, but go more in depth about it today. And sometimes the biggest transfer win isn't a signing. Sometimes it's keeping someone. And that's why this youngster, Josh Abe, who is 16 years old, I believe, 15 or 16 years old now. He's got 8 goals and 10 appearances at the under 18s. Already training around the first team environment, apparently attracting extraordinary interest. Reported numbers are staggering if you really think about what he's done as a youngster. But there's been offers allegedly exceeding £50,000 per week for the player to make a move. For a teenager, if you really think about that, being offered $50K a week as a 15, 16-year-old kid must be like, what'd you say? Like you can buy a lot of Legos with that. So,
yeah, and put it in the shop and then get it back.
Yeah, maybe so. But for a teenager, when you think about that, at 15 years old, despite the money, despite Manchester City and Chelsea and Manchester United being the teams that were offering him staggering numbers and trying to persuade him to move to their clubs, Josh Abe stayed. That's a statement, not just from the player, but it's a statement about Liverpool. I love the fact that that kind of statement was made, especially considering this player is a player that is represented by Tyler Alexander-Arnold, and the other TAA, right, basically. And keeping elite academy talent is becoming very difficult, maybe even more difficult every transfer season we go, because a lot of teams want to, like big clubs don't wait really any longer. They want to poach on these players. They want to be aggressive. They want to cash in sometimes on these players. And Liverpool have lost talents before. This time they didn't. Now come the difficult part, the development, the managing expectations, avoiding burnout, avoiding hype. It's going to be tough. Some made it, some don't. The talent is obvious with this player. The pathway is what matters. But I'm asking, can Josh Abe become Liverpool's next genuine first-team star?
Hope so. That'd be splendid if he could. To have another youngster coming through as well as Rio, the more the merrier in terms of young players, and especially of that nature, like exciting young players, attacking young players. And why not? I hope so. I hope it works out with this lad.
Mm-hmm. I was about to answer Phil's question. The question about Bayern Munich coming for one of our young talented players, Rio. It is a unique question about whether Rio can be persuaded to leave and go and try to find some playing time in Bayern Munich and develop and grow out in Germany, but I don't think so. I think it's
50 million, yeah.
I think it's 17. Mate, he's only 17. Don't forget, he's not 19 or 20. Big difference. Those 2 years are a big difference, like in a young player's career. not got enough experience yet. He knows he's needed here and he's wanted there. You know, at the moment, he's only got Cody Gakpo in front of him to move out the way, and Cody did not have the best of seasons, and so Rio hopefully will be looking at that left wing spot and having designs on making it his on a regular basis in the immediate future. You know, sometime in the immediate future. That's what I see for Rio. Like, and he's just got to keep plugging away. I know that, you know, things click next season, that we're playing well and he can get in the team and show what he's made of, show his mettle. And, you know, I'm looking forward to that. Like, I'm looking forward to the young man's continued development. Don't want to heap too much pressure on him too early. That's why I think we do actually need signings on the wings as well as his emergence. But, yeah, it's an exciting future for him, and it would be for me, it'd be too early for him to move when he's 17 after only what is not much more than a handful of, all right, he's made more than a handful of appearances for us, but, you know, I don't know, 2 handfuls maybe he's made, like, well, that's 20 appearances, something like, not an awful lot, not a lot of starts within those appearances, most of them sub-appearances. It'd be too early for him, for me. He'd be taking, like, a huge gamble, I think, if he moved now.
Okay. I mean, I'm not disputing that you're wrong. I don't think, if anything, I don't think that he will make the move or would want to make the move, to be honest with you. I think he enjoys the attention and appreciation from the fans here. And I think that at the same time, I just find it rich that Bayern Munich and all these teams like Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, there's a difference in the fact of like the arrogance that is sometimes shown by some of these clubs and the way that they speak on players that are a part of other teams, and they make as though simply because they snap their fingers that this player is going to either, you know, jump and go through hoops to get to their team, you know. And I just find it interesting because, I mean, there was the talks when Elise was, you know, being quoted as being one of our targets early in the season and even mid-season, and their board came out and said, well, we won't sell him, you know, because, you know, newsflash, he's under contract, and, you know, and there's no price that you could offer that unless we want it to happen for it to happen because he's under contract and blah, 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 blah. But yet, because all of a sudden Bayern Munich decide that, you know, Rio is a player that has obviously shown some great potential. He's gotten looks at and is young, but has already been propositioned to play at least practice with the English national team, and, you know, he's young talent and being utilized there, and it's just I don't think that he would want to do something that could have dangerous implications on his career if he were to, you know, try to make a unnatural jump to a team in a different country and have to resettle and be at that age and the likes. It wouldn't really necessarily, I think, be the proper move for him, but to each is their own. Yeah. But what about Josh Abe, you know? Do you think Josh Abe has got a chance of getting some playing time this season in the first team? Either of you can answer. Don't be shy.
Not so much if we make signings, maybe, but if we don't make that many signings, perhaps.
JK?
About signings?
What about Josh Abe?
Look, he's 15 years old. What can you say? You know what I mean? If he's going to be good, he's going to be good. He won't be at Liverpool for 10, 15 years, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, fair enough. If in the future, if a club offers 150 million for him, yeah, it's going to be like that, isn't it? But if he can come play for Liverpool for 5-6 years, sound.
Well,
it's all about potential.
There was a talk about Slot not really paying much attention to the academy. And that's the thing about it, is that Josh Abe is a player that obviously has potential, but would you even offer him the opportunity if he can? I mean, it's obvious if he can play, he can play. But I mean, I believe he's 16 now. 16 years old. Would you try to work him into cup games and the likes and giving him an opportunity, or is it more like let's not rush his progression to the first team?
Training, like you can train with the first team, stuff like that. Could probably be on the bench for them type of games and whatever. In the same way Rio probably did it this season. Not too much, probably a bit too less maybe, but hey, a lot of players come with a lot of potential, and what happens is if he's going to be offered 50,000 at that age,
Must
can he
be
handle
good.
the money? Can he will it be too much for him? Is he going to go the wrong way? And that's all the questions that need to be
That's
asked
not what
before you say
Liverpool.
he's
I don't
worth
think
under 50 million.
Liverpool didn't go from 50,000. Other teams did over 50,000.
Yeah, Man City offered him 50,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
But if he's been not offered that much money at that age and stuff, it might be a downfall for him.
Mhm.
That's 200 grand a month. Yeah. So you got to be careful of. Curtis Jones probably don't get that much. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Crazy.
mhm. Yeah. I don't even think Kelleher got that much when he was playing for us as keeper when he was originally. But you're right. It is something to keep an eye on. I guess let's just roll into this next segment because this is the main segment of the show here. Because this is where tonight's theme truly comes together. There's 8 players, there's 8 opportunities, there's 8 potential solutions, and perhaps a few hidden bargains out there. Let me bring in these players for us. 1 second. And I'm going to bring in these names. Some of them are names that maybe you believe in, maybe you don't. Obviously, we're here to talk about whether you do or you don't and have that conversation. But let me get this set up. Because like I said, unfortunately, when I accidentally hit myself out of the chat or out of this, I unfortunately took myself out of... I took all my photos out. But I made some graphics up, or at least some player profile cards for everyone so that they can kind of get a sense of who these players are that we're talking about. And you can keep your own score at home. So let's just go with that, all right? And so that you can decide on who you would want to take at this team, who you would want to see at this team. And the first name on my list is Jared Bowen. I think that's probably the most biggest name possibly on this list. And Premier League proven. He's a homegrown player. He's reliable. He's consistent. Has leadership abilities. He's the biggest issue is obviously his age. At 29, Bowen isn't not only a long-term Salah replacement, but it's more of it's less about Salah and it's more about the fact of we normally don't buy players in that age group. So he can, do you think he can improve Liverpool immediately? Do you think he can make an impact? Lee, do you think he can make an impact?
Possibly. A lot of people have poo-pooed the idea and outright mocked it, but I think he's a useful forward still. He is only 29. Okay, he'll be 30 at the end of this year. But, that's not that old, not these days. I mean, he's not got electrifying pace, but he moves, and certainly when he gets at players and runs at them, he can beat them and finish. He's still got that. I believe he could still do that for us. I'd be looking somewhere else as a first choice, really, for a Mo replacement for a left footer.
Okay.
But I wouldn't, I think the idea is not outrageous, as some of our fan base do think it's like a joke of an idea. I don't. I think he's a useful forward. And he'd no doubt love to play here. And if it did transpire that we just had him for a season or two till he was 31, 32, and then let him go. He could help us out of a hole potentially, like.
Yeah, agree.
You know, and have Diamante as the big wing signing on the other side. Have him on the left, Bowen on the right. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. And then we just have to buy a DM, don't we? And maybe get a right back. Well, centre back, possibly a right back, and maybe someone to stand in for Hugo while he's out up front. I think if we could find a freebie that fitted. It just depends how much money we've got to spend and what targets we've got to replace Mo. See, Iraola's just walked in the door. His idea of how he wants to replace Salah might be different to what Slots was. But we'll soon find out who he's got his eyes on for that role. Like, we'll find out sooner or later. Well, I wouldn't say no to Bowen. Not in the way some of our fans are, because they've said, N-O spells no way. But I don't feel that way about Bowen. I think he's a useful forward who could potentially, I'm not saying he'd come and be a success, but I mean, that's the thing with any player, like, you know what I mean? Wherever you buy them from and whoever they are, they're not always guaranteed to work, but he would have potential, I think, in a side that was a Liverpool side that was performing and creating well and putting teams under pressure. Yeah, I could see that. I reckon you get him for less than that, 45 million, what it says there. I'd be looking at paying about 35 for him. Now the Hammers have been relegated, and they've got to take stock. He'd be one of the players I'd look at from them. Him and that Fernandez lad that they have in midfield, I like him. Yeah, he's good. The lad Fernandez.
Let's just focus on the players that they're on the board.
Lee, don't talk about no one else. It's a law here.
I know.
You can't talk about no one else. Gerald or no one. Look, bro, for me, it's probably a no, I think 2 years ago, yeah, for sure. I know he's a Man United fan. Yeah, it's a no for me.
Didn't know that. It wouldn't change my mind necessarily. Ronnie Whelan was a Man United fan. He was a legend.
Oh, bro, you're telling me that? No. Ronnie Whelan was a Man United fan.
Oh, yeah, in Ireland. He was the kid. He was a massive United fan. He had a trial at United. Then he had us and he chose us instead, which was a wise move.
Okay. Look, Bowen is good. He'll probably do a job for us. Depends on what they're going to say they want for him, because they're gone down. He's their best player. If there's something crazy, but if it's a decent sort of price, he'll do a job, bro. So as a squad, to add to the squad, it could be a sort of sorted good signing. It could be, But I'm not adamant, we need Bowen now. I'm not in that sort of level.
Okay. All right. Well, then this next player is a promising player. He's definitely on the other spectrum of age, and that is Matheus Mane. He's upside signing. He's 18 years old, versatile, affordable, huge ceiling. You would say probably exactly the kind of move smart clubs make before the player becomes unaffordable. But, it isn't necessarily a guaranteed home run. He's still got a lot of time, and he's not necessarily going to bring you the impact that you might need from the player, considering the hole that that Salah's removal from the team creates. What do you feel about Matheus?
I like him. The bits I've seen of him, and he's got the right name, hasn't he? One of our other recent massive heroes. I must mention that because Mo's just left, but him and Mo together with the dream tickets as a pair of wide men. The fear they put into opponents when they first linked up in the Premier League, and right until the end, until the day Mane left, him and Salah were just outright feared by opponents, and you could see it in their bloody faces at times, right? When they were playing that clock team, Firmino, Salah, Mane. But I like Matheus Mane. What I've seen of him, he looks promising. Maybe I'd say another season. I mean, they've been relegated as well, though, So, like, to watch him this season, you're going to have to be watching the Championship.
Mhm.
But maybe if he was another year into his development and his career in England, I would say yes. But he's quite new. But I like what I've seen so far. He's definitely got the right spirit and the right energy. He likes to just run and see how far he can get. You know, and not in like a haphazard way, but he doesn't know where he's going. He knows where the goal is, like, and he knows what creates danger for opposition defences. And I've liked what I've seen of the young lads, yeah, very much so.
Okay. How about for you, JK? Mane fan? Maybe not. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he is, but I think JK is dealing with something.
Not for me, bro.
Okay, easy enough. How about for then this guy on my list here? I think you might have mentioned him earlier. Potentially the most complete midfielder solution on this list, maybe for what we need. Can play multiple roles, strong technically, definitely young enough to grow with the team, which is good to see and good to think about, because good enough to contribute immediately and young enough to be at an age where he can continue to grow and continue to be worthy is something. But market value is at 80 million. Now, whether that holds or not is one thing. I know West Ham is going to have to figure out what they want to do. But then again, this player is a really talented player. And if they're going to cash in on getting rid of some of their young talent, they're going to need talent to bring them back up to the Premier League, you know? So, you know, as much as these relegated teams are looked at as being like, oh, it's a bargain basement deal, you know, or yard sale or something, I guess you could say, right? Some of these players are going to command decent numbers. 80 million is a lot. I don't think he'll go for 80 million, but 60 million, 65. Would you still make the deal?
60. Yeah, I'd go 60 on Fernandes, definitely, like, as high as that. And we can possibly get him then this summer. He does have a good profile. And, you know, he's Portuguese, like, one of the good Portuguese midfielders now, like, especially, you know, you look at PSG, you know. Yeah, that'd be good, I reckon. Like, I like his profile, I like what I've seen of him. I'd like to see more of him, actually, to know more of him as a player. But I do like what I've seen of Matheus Fernandes. He looks like one who could easily translate it to a bigger stage. He's definitely one for the future. I mean, if we don't buy him, someone else will.
Okay. Well, then, how about I'll let JK speak on my wild card here, and that is the Premier League experience, goal threat. He's direct. He's certainly got explosive tendencies about him. Could be exactly the type of depth signing Liverpool need. He is, you know, not as young as 21, but he is in that target range at 24. He's a left winger, right foot player, and he can be considerably decent price. Market value is at 30 million. Somerville, your guy? JK?
Yeah, man, I like him. Top player. Him and Fernandes both get on both. I think Fernandes is quality, and Somerville for that price, no problem.
Okay.
It's up to him if he makes that position his own. Then after that, you know what I mean?
So, do you think, being he's a left winger, do you think that would make it? Excuse me. Do you think that would make it make us have to make a decision about maybe Cody's future, or does that maybe, you know, being, I know that Rio is very young still, but all the same, at 24, you're looking at a player that would, if he's good enough and he excels the way you think he might be able to excel, now all of a sudden you're looking at a player that's not going to relinquish that, maybe not really relinquish that position for Rio to move into eventually as our starting left winger. Is it maybe better to look for an age dynamic that is a little bit older, more developed and mature? That way, you know, you can siphon out that player and bring in a younger player when you need to?
I just feel there's enough games for them to share. If that's the case, look, bro, 4 competitions. Rio's not going to play every game. Some of them wouldn't play every game. Carry the load, share the loads. I mean, depends on who else we get, but he's an option for me.
Okay. All right. Well, then, Lee, let's go back to Wolves. Tell me, do you make a move for João Gomez? He's definitely the safest signing. He's probably the most talented of all the players I've brought up so far. Primarily proven, physical, aggressive, reliable as well. 25 years old, entering the prime of his career. Many supporters would love to see this guy join us, especially since he plays in the midfield, plays central midfield for us, 39 million is his market value. Probably could get him in closer to that 30 million mark. Is this a guy, and he's a guy that wants to move too? Bob doesn't.
He's a player I like, and if I can say on Somerville's good. I'm not sure if he's Liverpool class though, if he's the answer to our right wing need to have a new left wing. Sorry, he's left wing coming in on his right foot. I'm not sure he'd be good enough for us, but I do like him, Somerville. He's got plenty of pace. João Gomez is someone I do like, him, and I like Matthias more than I like Somerville. I like Matthias more than Somerville, I would say. Matthias, man. So João Gomez and Fernandez from West Ham, there too, yeah, I'd look at definitely if he's looking to add in central midfield. Because I wouldn't mind just buying 2 midfielders. I'd like us to buy guys in the wall, de facto number 6. You can win the ball and win the ball as often as need be, and in many different ways. That's what I really want. But I also would like another midfielder as well. And if that means somebody like Curtis goes, so be it. It's just the evolution of the squad. I mean, I do like Curtis. I always have. He's got loads of strings to his bow, Curtis. He's a good finisher, quite a good passer. He's really good technically, Curtis. He's a skillful lad. Everyone knows that. But he's not maybe what we need right now in midfield, Curtis, because we've got others who are very skillful on the ball, like Bert and Soboslai. I'm not short of skill. And I think we need some bit of strength and solidity, make that thumping noise. In midfield, we need a bit of that thumping noise in midfield next season as we go in and hit players hard and win the ball off them and chase them and harry them and get back to what we were doing basically before Slot went and slowed us down to a standstill, to a crawl.
Okay. Oh, there's a player on this list. Actually, Norm brought up his name earlier. I didn't respond because I knew I already had him on this list. So he's 24 years old, French-born player, plays on Burnley. And considering that we just lost a center half, is maybe going after Burnley's center half a good move? He's left-footed. He's good age profile. He's got a reasonable fee connected to him. I think he's at 25 million. It feels sensible. It could be a good move. And I'm not saying he's, world-class quality or something like that, but it could be a player that at least creates some type of ability. We're also, just so that the chat knows, we're dealing with players from relegated teams. Crystal Palace isn't a relegated team, so that's why LaCroix, who is a target possibly, but isn't on this list. These are all just relegated players or relegated teams and their players, just so you know. I see he keeps bringing up Alex Scott and LaCroix. Those aren't relegated players, but.
Well, I know precious little of Maxime Esteve, or however you pronounce it.
Norm said Norm was very interested in him. He mentioned earlier in the chat that was a player that he said to keep an eye on or something.
Well, left-footed is good, if I can put that in there, because I love left-footed centre-backs. It does bring balance. Virgil's had the left side berth for a long time now. But even Virgil himself can play on the right and has done innumerable times for Holland in recent years when he's had like Ake or Van der Ven, because they're left-footers at the side of him. So he can easily play with him, or Esteve can play in his... Because I want us to manage Virgil's minutes now in the hope of getting another contract in another year, maybe even 2 out of him. Because looking at Virgil physically, he looks like he can go for longer to me than this next season as being his last. So I would like his minutes to be managed. I would like there to be a viable alternative to him. Yeah. So he doesn't have to play every minute. I mean, he plays every minute of every Premier League game this season.
What did he play? Like how many minutes again did he play? Like 5,000 minutes or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he played all the minutes basically in the Premier League, and now he's off to the World Cup. I would like him to pack in the international scene after this. I'd like him to be honest with himself and say, will I be in 4 years' time at this level? I'm still be the captain of Holland or regular in the team, and maybe jib it off like the way I like the way Milner did that. Milner sort of reaped the benefits of jibbing off international football because he weren't getting selected that much anyway. Millie would now and then, but like he jibbed it off, and that helped prolong his club career. I always felt, and I'd like to see the same thing with Virgil. Like, I'm happy for him to play for. It's a big thing. He's a Dutch player, and they are like a proud football nation with a big tradition. Like, and he's made up to be captain, and I'm made up for him. But I think he should maybe pack the international scene in after this World Cup, because he could prolong his career, and he could be walking away with more league titles, which I'm sure he'd love after only bagging 2 in his time here so far. You know what I mean? The couple he's for him, like, he could smell trophies like here and think, I'll cut the international career short to do this for another 2-3 years.
Yeah.
No offense to any Dutch people that hear this or might watch this. No offense at all, but he's ours and we want him.
There you go.
We'll pay his wages.
Let me say that originally when I saw this name, I thought I had a knee-jerk reaction to the name, but it is not the name. It is not the player that some might think if you're just listening to the show here. But El Hadji Malik Diouf, okay, is the next name on my list here, and he's another West Ham player. He's a player that plays left back. Now, why I have him in this list is because he could be covered. We're all talking about some people are okay with Tsimikas coming back. Some don't think that Tsimikas is at the quality or levels that we need to have as a backup left back for our team. But this player is young. He's athletic. He's future focused and could be valuable cover behind Milos Kerkez as a left back. Considering now we don't have Robbo there, and if it means moving on from Tsimikas, then he could be an option. Are you sold on this player maybe being an option, Lee?
I don't know enough about him, mate. In fact, I've barely heard of him, if at all, this season. Has he played much? Like, I mean, how many appearances made for West Ham?
He has made appearances for West Ham. He's got he's 6 foot tall. He's a left-footed left back. He wouldn't be that expensive of a deal for us to do because he's about 26 million market value. So we can maybe get him for 16, 18, something like that.
Sad to say, I've not seen him myself personally when I've seen West Ham, or when I've seen them, he hasn't done anything that's got on the highlights. But I don't know. I really don't know with this lad. I like the picture. Looks like a serious young man there. Career at the top. Why not though if he's good? Make up for El Hadji Diouf for original Hadji.
I know. You don't even.
I was made up without Hadji Diouf at first. I loved him because he looked good. with his hair, this dyed hair and that, like, and he's just like, he had a good face and he looked like the boss and that. Like, I was like, yes, he scored 2 on his debut against Southampton. I was like, yes, this is going to be good. And then he just slid off, like, and went off a cliff. The whole thing was it getting him instead of Anelka. But remember that summer, like, he scored the 1 goal when they beat France, the defending champions, didn't he, in 2002? That basically got him the move to Liverpool. Well, not only got him the move to Liverpool, but
it was a big influence.
Yeah, I remember that game. Well deserved to win at Senegal. He was good in that game. Senegal deserved the win, I felt, against France, defending champions. But yeah, this guy could be something different entirely for us to the old El Hadji.
He could be. I mean, look, there's another name on this is the last. I said this is the power of 8. So there's another name I have on here. Now this is like maybe even more of a wild card than any of them. But considering that we will be absent of Ekitike, considering Jaden Dan simply has not been able to be available. I'm not saying that he won't be available this season or this upcoming season, but then again, unfortunately, he hasn't been reliable in that capacity. Then you have to look at maybe bringing in a forward, maybe, and maybe you go with something pretty modestly cheap, if you want to look at it that way. 12 million euros is what is being looked at as his market value. That's incredibly cheap once you really think about it. He is, I know, a Dutch player. I know people might react differently about that, but still the same. He's a center forward, right foot player, 6'1", 27 years old. Wouldn't have to, with the price tag that he would be brought in on, you wouldn't have to worry about him being tied down to some long-term contract. Maybe he's someone that gets some fill-in minutes here and there, and simply, you buy him for like 8 million or something, not even, maybe 7-8 million, something like that, and then you're able to get him some exposure on a good team, and then you can move him on for double, triple the amount, considering he's a striker. I don't know if you've watched too much about Burnley this season. Have you, Lee? Or JK? Go ahead. I heard you just.
Nah, not for me. But Duo, the left back, I like the look of him. I think he's a good little player.
Mm-hmm.
So West Ham, they got about 3 players that we could take him.
Yeah.
Fernandez and Somerville.
Yeah. All good players. All definitely good players.
All sound squad members, yeah. Mm-hmm. Fernandez starter, yeah.
If Liverpool could sign only 2 of these 8 players, who are you taking?
Yeah, Fernandez, 100%, and probably Diouf. Now Robertson's gone.
Interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about for you, Lee? Hopefully you remember the list.
I'll have Fernandez and Jared Bowen.
Jared Bowen. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have the 2 West Ham lads, Fernandez and Jared Bowen.
So West Ham looks like it's the target, basically.
Yeah, they'd be target like to raid. Now they've gone down. Wolves, João Gomez, possibility, looks a decent player. The Burnley lads, no.
Oh yeah, I've seen this Fleming lad. He missed a couple of cities in a game once. I'm like, yo, how did this guy even make it?
Oh wow, is he like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I remember him now. Yeah. Not for me. Come on, he's 27.
27. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now for me, Diouf and Fernandez. Fernandez, 100%. He's probably my first signing I'd make anyway.
Okay.
Before even Monday.
I said there's 8 players, or the number 8 means something tonight, and there's 8 lone players that are fighting for their futures. The forgotten side of every rebuild is what already belongs to you, the players that return from loan. Liverpool have 8 major loan stories requiring decisions. One of them is Harvey Elliott, probably the most fascinating case out of all of them. His Villa loan was disastrous, not because of him, but because he barely played and because Iraola now has a decision: sell, keep, maybe even use as a squad player. There's Costa Simicast. We just spoke on him. Roma didn't provide many answers for him. Could suddenly become important again if we aren't going to bring in a left back. Then you have Luis Kumas. I am hoping that we bring back Luis Kumas, and if not, I'm hoping we bring him back. And if not, then I think still at least get him out on another loan or something along those lines for one more year to make a decision on him. I think he's had a mixed campaign. He's still talented. I think he's still developing. He's still uncertain as to whether he is going to make it or not. I know, though, Craig Bellamy, I'm going to speak about this at probably tomorrow, but Craig Bellamy, who's this coach at Wales, said that the young lad has a very promising. He is the man. He says basically he's definitely got incredible talent. It's just a matter of him getting opportunities and him tapping into that talent. Then there's Lucas Stevenson. I think he is a exceptional player actually for his age and for his quality that he brings. I think he's quietly an excellent player. Perhaps the biggest success story out of the group, probably. And then there is also Yaros. The injury, I think, complicated everything. I think Yaros could possibly be a better fit, tell you the truth, than Marmarashvili. I know that sounds wild to say, but I only say maybe only because I think he knows how Liverpool want to play, and I think he's capable of playing it. Now, he might not be – I don't think there's that much of a fall-off from Marmarashvili and Yaros in shot-stopping ability, but – he needs another opportunity, I think, probably to work out, the year loss from that injury. And then there's Luke Chambers. He's had important minutes. He's had a strong recovery from injury, which is good. That's an encouraging sign. There's Callum Scanlon. We were talking about left backs. He has had a difficult year. He needs some football. I don't think that he is going to be utilized as an option on that left side. Simple as that. And then there is Morzek. Excuse me, Fabian Morzek. I think he's a good player too. By the way, I think he's he plays in FC. He plays in the MLS, but he's on loan in the MLS. But he is a good player. Cincinnati. I know people don't rate the MLS like that highly, but all the same, FC Cincinnati had a good season this year, and he was a big part of that reality. Feels increasingly like a permanent departure might happen. But goalkeepers develop differently. Never write them off too early, so you might see something happen. But if out of these loan players, which loan player deserves a genuine first team chance under Iraola, in your opinion? And I'll bring that to. I'll ask Nolante since he just joined the group here.
All right, he's Scousley in the building. Scousley. What a brilliant man you are, Scousley. We got 12, the most from the house, the man with the master plan. Catching in Phoenix, Arizona, if anyone can, 12 can. And big up JK. Unstreit, weit und viert und Pfund. JK, Pfund. Mit viert und Weizens und Swines.
Oh, okay.
Oh, JK does order. All right, fine.
JK,
Evening, Hyla. How you doing, Hyla? Hope you're well. Hope everyone is well in the chat.
Yeah, all right. I'll give you the list.
Yeah.
These are 8 players that are on loan that are coming back. Harvey Elliott, Simicast, Kumas, Stevenson, Yaros, Chambers, Scanlon, Morzek, and I think that's it. Yeah, those are the 8. Who do you think has a real shot of playing with the first team?
It's $1 million one question. Yeah, I mean, one thing Slot again negative is he didn't really give any of the youth a chance. Iraola, regardless of what I think, will give them a chance, which is great to know. So, I think Harvey might have a chance. I
I
think
think so.
Harvey might have a chance. Yeah, which would be great because I would love him to stay. I think he could still do a job, and look at what's gone in and out of our club right now, especially
Mhm.
the forward areas. And I would love him to stay to do a job. Elliot Stevenson, I'm in two minds about. I think Stevenson. I've always liked Owen Beck
Mhm.
for me, but I think his time is gone. So possibly Stevenson. The others, I'm not sure. I know, obviously, I think I just clocked him when you mentioned about Kumas and what Bellamy was saying about him. To be more upfront, I don't think he'll make it, but so I'll say, yeah, Elliot and possibly Stevenson for me out of the list.
Okay. Just about to give Trudon an answer to what he had to say because I agree. Yardos might have been our second. The way to, I think for what we needed out of a keeper, he could have possibly been that second keeper for us. But that injury, it really hurt his opportunities. But he did look decent when he played. He did for Red Arms supporter, by the way. Big up. I don't think I said hello to you, but big up. And big up to Trudon and hello.
Armchairs in Budapest tonight. He's shipped his armchair over to Budapest, and he to have a look at all the buildings and all the good swag that you want to see when you go anywhere.
Okay, that's cool. Shout out to hello to Bob too. By the way, I didn't get a chance to say hello to you, but yeah, I agree with you on the Elliott thing too. I think I think maybe Elliott gets an opportunity to play, but not necessarily. I mean, obviously he's not a starter, but he could come back and be able to give an opportunity to fight for minutes and to fight to be, I think, not only a squad player but someone that contributes for the team. And I think he'd be willing to make sacrifices in his game to make sure that he can do that. So he's got the right temperament to play. All right. Well, so we spent this entire show talking about the number 8 targets, 8 potential X's, 8 transfer targets, 8 contracts, 8 loan situations, 8 youth players, 8 relegated players. But now it's time to put our cards on the table. And I'll let you be Richard Hughes. If Richard Hughes handed you the keys to Liverpool Football Club and said, I want you to make 8 major decisions for the future of this club. And you had to go and say, okay, out of those 8 players that we said early on, with the possible players that were being mentioned as some of our top targets, who would you bring? You can pick out 2. And then for the players that we need to sell, you got to pick 2. And then if even going further, you have to pick 2 players from the 1 year left on the contract to extend. And then you have to pick 2 players from our youth academy to focus on bringing up to the team. I know that's a lot. I know that maybe some of you haven't been taking notes, but if you had to bring up, I'll at least share with you the names of the players I gave as options for the first part. Let me bring up the names for the first. So the names for the first were obviously Jan Diamante, but also I said here were some of the names that I offered as players you could choose from. And you can only choose 2. And Jan Diamante is in this list. So let me put his name in there.
Cool.
All right. And I'm trying to think of who else could be in this list. That's all. I had 6 names on this list here.
Cool.
Who would you pick as your 2 transfers you're bringing in out of this list?
Ooh, well, yeah. I can eliminate 3 of those, so it's between the last 3. Oh, you know what? Nico and Diamande for me.
Nico.
Yeah,
I thought Nico and Diamante. Oh,
yeah,
you said
both of
Nico
them.
and-
Yeah,
oh,
both
gotcha.
of them. Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah, I know you're gonna say.
Yeah, I know you like Diamante. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that threw me off for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. JK, who out of this list are you taking? You got 2 choices to make. I see Scouse Adams, gone Wharton and Diamante. Random Sporter said Diamante and Wharton. Nico has been linked. Nico Williams has been linked. JK, I think is still not with us. So I'll go Lee. Who would you go with?
My 2 that I like out of these, Barcola and Diamande.
Oh, you go Barcola and Diamande.
Yeah, I like Barcola. If that could be a goer, and we could get him for about 60, 70 mil pounds, pounds, which would be about in this low 80s of euros, then yeah, why not? I mean, he's a fabulous player, Barcola, definitely. And if they were willing to part with him, and Diamande, he's got youth on his side, and Jan Diamante's very young. So you've got plenty of, like JK mentioned before, he couldn't see him coming in and staying as long as someone like Salah did. But, I said before, those sort of careers are a bit of an anomaly these days, and that you don't see them that often. They're not the usual thing with a career to go and stay somewhere for 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as common as it used to be. So, if we bought him at this young age and sold him on in the future, that'd be okay as long as we got what we wanted for him. But I really like them too, yeah. I like the other guys as well. I like Nico. Nico's been a good player for a long time now. He signed that new contract, didn't he, last summer, which complicated things for anybody who was looking at him, because apparently Barca were keen on Nico. The other guys,
you're talking about the right Nico, yeah.
Wharton, all good players, but they'd be my picks out of that. Would be Barcola and Diamande. That's sort of our wing needs out quick, smart. We'd have it all locked up, then we'll be able to move on to other areas of the team that need patching up.
Okay. All right. All right. So then I already gave the list for you guys earlier. So let me see if I can just find it rather than have to put it into the list here. 2 players that you would sign, that you would give extensions to. That's the list right there. Those players are all on the, I think this is, oh no, these players aren't on the last year. These players are all 8 players that are reportedly on the transfer block.
Well, I've answered on this one already, haven't I? Ross Nolante.
Nolante. You can answer. Yeah.
2 players I would give extensions.
Or 2 players, excuse me, 2 players you would move on from.
From the list?
Yeah. I think that's and then 2 players you would keep. You could do it that way.
Okay. Alexis and Endo. Alexis and Endo.
Okay.
I'll move them on.
Okay. And then who are you keeping?
I'll keep Jones and Joey.
I need to keep Joey.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it in, mate. He stayed in my squad, mate. He ain't going anywhere.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. These are the players that are in 2027 is their last year, as in 2027, their contracts expire. Which of these players? So you can pick 2 players. Who are you giving an extension to out of these players? I'll bring this list up for you. Hold on. This is the list of players you can choose from. Which of these 2 players, or which 2 players are you bringing the extension to?
BBD 100%, and stuck between 2. Harvey.
Harvey. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And if you had to bring up 2 players from the youth academy, which 2 players would you bring up to the senior team?
2 years. Nothing for the senior team right now. I think Kieran Morrison. I've seen him. He's been in and out the squads, but I'll bring him forward to Kieran Morrison. I think he gets slept under in terms of the other players.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, no, you can't have. He's too young, so I couldn't bring him up. I like Kane Doherty. So
Okay.
very versatile as a player. So I think those 2, because no one else in the 21s in the squad is standing out. Now, obviously we've got players there, but they've just come back from loan. So if you want to include Stevenson, then yeah, so.
Okay. Doherty. I think Doherty did leave.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
How did he? The thing with that list that we were just looking at there is, there's a couple of players that it is up in the air because we don't know what Iraola will make of them in terms of their usefulness.
I know.
But you're thought of them and their usefulness. So
I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting that.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm not saying that you were doubting it, like we're picking holes. I'm just saying that's the thing with a couple of those players. Costas, for instance, for all we know, like you could take a look at Costas in 3 seasons. He's still playing international football, scoring goals even for Greece still, and think, I can use him as my number 2.
Yes.
A lot of people are against that now. You keeping Costas as the number 2 because he's been out the Premier League for a while, and he was never great for us, but he was always adequate, which sort of the greatest praise you can give a player adequate. But he can do a job. Costas, at least he has got Premier League experience at left back if we need him as cover for Robbo. And Iraola might look at him and think, I can use him. We just don't know. Same with Jones. Like, the Jones talk has been that he fell out with Slot and he was angling for a move, fancied Italy. But it might be totally different. Iraola might look at him and think, I like this player, I'll use him. So we got to wait and see, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. Some of the players, you could actually, because Scanlon is technically a youth academy player too, kind of. But the only thing that we have left is for you to choose. Oh, and which 2 players are you picking out of the 8 relegated players that we had? I'll give you the list. I'm not gonna put the names in there, but I'll give you the list. It was Bowen, Mane from Wolves, Fernandez, Somerville, Gomez from Wolves, Esteve, Maxime Esteve, who's the center half. And El Hajij, Malik Diouf. And then the 8th player I had was, what was the name of the player I had?
That Dutch lad.
Yeah, the Dutch player that played, the Dutch striker for
Fleming. Fleming. Yeah.
From Burnley. Those are the 8. Who are you taking out of those 8? You can pick 2 to add to the squad.
Bowen and Diouf. Yeah, Bowen and Jeff for me.
Okay. How about for you, Lee? Did you already give? I think you might have already given your answers.
Yeah, I'll have Bowen and Fernandez, both off West Ham.
Mhm.
Joe Gomez is a maybe as a midfield alternative to Manuel Fernandez, but I prefer Manuel Fernandez. He looks more the ticket for me. We're here. And it'd be great if, if Iraola came in and says, "Yeah, I think we're going to bloody buy him. Here's £60 million. Hand them over, please, West Ham, immediately."
Well, I'll say this: if Richard Hughes asked for my assistance, these are the 8 that I would choose on my list. There, the same list that you guys have, basically. I would sign Yan Diomande. I think we have a big spot to fill with Mohamed Salah leaving. I know that doesn't replace Mohamed Salah directly, but Diomande definitely brings you pace and power to that wing, and he brings you youth. That's important. Elite upside, explosive, fearless. He's already producing at high levels already. I know it's a breakout year, but still, he'd be definitely a player I think is worth a gamble on.
Given what I've seen of him, his profile and that, what he's good at and how he plays, you could definitely see him fitting into a revitalised attacking Liverpool side under Iraola's tutelage.
Yeah.
With Alexander Isak or Hugo Ekitike, like in the middle, somebody over the other side, and we'd be good to go, wouldn't we?
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Definitely aggressive attacking system that he plays. Iraola, at least. I think he'd be good with this. My second choice out of that list would have been Adam Wharton. I think we've been trying to find a replacement for Fabinho for years now. Even before Fabinho, we were looking for replacements as well. We're looking to reassure our DM role. We've tried different solutions, different personnel. Wharton looks like the closest thing to a long-term answer that this team is willing to commit to. So he's intelligent, progressive on the ball, and understands tempo. I think he gives Liverpool control, which is good. And I'm hoping that he could bring a little bit of assistance to the game, or the portion of the game that Maka has been a little bit deficient in this season. If I was selling players, I would sell Marmardashvili, and it's not because he's a bad goalkeeper, by the way. He's far from it. I think he's a good goalkeeper. It's because Liverpool next season have Ali. I know that people are going to say, well, Ali's been injured a bunch. I get that. But we saw better production out of Woodman than we did out of Marmardashvili, personally, I think. I would say give Yaros a try, or even bring in Morzik from back from Cincinnati. But keeping a £30 million goalkeeper on the bench makes little sense to me. I would certainly say either he's good enough to start, or we need to find someone that will eventually be that guy. And to make the numbers work, I would sell. This one's controversial, and people are going to be shocked, but I'd sell McAllister as well, simply because there's not many names in there that I think can bring us real value on the market. I think McAllister has the highest value out of all the names on the list in there. And if we're going to pay and try to go for a Diomande, or try to go big and bring in a Wharton or some of these other players that are going to be 70, 80, 90 million, if not more, we need someone to offset that. And I think he's going to generate the most funds, and funds that could maybe finance either multiple upgrades or even finance a single upgrade, I think, is the move. So it's a weird one. I know most people wouldn't expect me saying that. But if I'm extending Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, everyone knows my favorite player. And I'm extending Curtis Jones. I think Curtis Jones remains one of the most misunderstood players at this team. Beyond him being homegrown, I think he's versatile, technically gifted, and I think he's entering the prime years of his career. And I think he understands that. He wants to make a difference with that. And I just think that we can trust the player because he knows what it means to be a Liverpool player. Finally, if I am promoting players that I want to help develop into eventually being senior team players, I'm going to go with Will Wright. I think Will Wright is a talented player, young player, very, very gifted. But I'm also going to go with I know people are going to say it's biased, and I'll admit that it probably is, but I'm going to go with my fellow American, Keiro Figueroa. I think that he has talent. I think that people, if you get to watch some of his performances in the with the youth team, you'd understand what I'm talking about. He's scoring numbers. His scoring numbers have been ridiculous down in that league. I understand it is, it isn't senior level, but it all the same shows that he has talent. Bias. I get it, but yeah, Will Wright feels like a good fit. I think K-Roll is a good player as well. I think you shouldn't sleep on him, and I think he's got the potential, and he's got the you got to recognize he's got a really bright upside. I mean, the guy is being looked at as being a player that's going to, the same way that Rio is being looked at for England, Figueroa is being looked at as a player to eventually get into the mix for the U.S. men's national team. And we've got good wingers too, by the way, Tim Weah and the likes, those kinds of players that he would try to be, moving in front of. And that's not an easy situation. And then for the relegated players, I'm going to go with Mateus Fernandez. And I'm going to go with João Gomez. João Gomez has openly said that he wants to be here. I like that. And I agree with the guys. I think Fernandez is possibly the most rounded player out of all of them when it comes to talent and skill. He can play the 6, he can play the 8. He's physically strong, press resistant. I get that João Gomez isn't necessarily everyone's cup of tea, but I don't think we'd have to spend that much money to get him. And I think he brings some of that flair and ability to move the ball that we lost by letting Lucho go. So those are my 8 players that I have on my list. So there you have it. No punches held back on that, I'm sure. I'm sure I'm going to hear about some of my choices. JK's back with us. If you can you? We already have your answers for most of the segments before, but what 2 players would you want to bring up from the youth academy? And I think that's the only 2 questions that you haven't answered.
That lad who everyone was talking about, the 15-year-old lad.
Oh, Josh Abe?
Yeah, bring him through. Let's see what the hype's all about,
Okay.
Because you all remember when you're 15, 16, 17, you're in an era of football where...
Can't remember. That's so long ago.
Can't remember? Oh, God. But I do. I just remember that sort of time when you play football. There's you got so much adrenaline. It's like you can play 5 days in a row. You don't give a damn. So sometimes I think when you're too cautious with these you got to let them breathe, let them play football in that type of era of their life. So I'd like to see him come through, and then I would say, what's his name? It was his birthday the other day.
Liverpool Football Club?
Yeah. A youth player. He's
no, I said Liverpool.
McConnell? No, not McConnell. Give me 1 second. Just trying to think of his name, man. He's been on the subs bench at the end of the season. I know that. So it'll be him and him.
Morrison.
Morrison, that's the one, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kieran
Morrison.
Morrison or Quinton
Yeah,
Morrison.
yeah.
Not Quinton, but yeah.
Yeah, he just said it.
Him.
Yeah. Okay. Great news. Definitely.
Oh, bless up, my chair.
Yeah. What's up, JK? Einstein Newton von Weidens. What?
Yeah.
Und?
Jürgen's
Speaking German, you always has been that little, sometimes when you try and do a German thing and that, it's quite hard. Do you know what though? I wouldn't imagine it's that hard to learn German if you were English. I think you would take to it quite. Did you find that, JK, from living there, that it wasn't too hard to learn German from English?
Yeah, I learned in school, like you had like French and then
German. We were the subjects, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just a lot of words are similar, but what these guys do, they use the verbs at the end of the start of the sentence. Like their verbs are really misplaced. It's just like it's weird. So, but you get used to it anyway. But the words wise, yeah. If you watch TV, I think the best way to learn a language is watch their news channels and their soap operas. You know, like you're watching a soap opera and you just know what the next person is going to say in a soap opera, and like I watched King of Queens, Doug and Kerry. You know Doug and Kerry, King of Queens. Yeah. That's how I learned German, bro. Watching that, man, I was like, okay. I think TV is the best way to learn it as well, man. Then I went to school and stuff, but I'm pretty. I wouldn't say I'm excellent in it. I'm pretty fluent. Sound.
I'm JK. Big up AR in the chat. Big up AR. Hope you
No,
well.
that's no problem.
That's.
From Toma pitched in LA to World Cup Global Ad Campaign. I don't know if he's talking about. I wonder who he's talking about. I know of a player that's named Mateo. He plays for San Diego now, but he was with LA Galaxy. But maybe he's talking about someone else. Maybe. And he's in a Nike football ad.
Let's do it.
Just do it.
I would probably say Nike my favourite pair of trainers after Adidas over the years. I've liked some pairs of Nike I've had. But I like Adidas better. I'm an Adidas man. As far as my feet go, we'll have other brands as well. I can have done over the years, but Nike is probably my second best pick. Looks good, the swish, the Nike swish, like, you know what I mean?
The only time I really injured myself playing, the only time I really injured myself playing football is where I wore Adidas all the time. Then I switched to Nike because I like the design of them, and boom, did my ankle ligaments twice. So I shouldn't have switched. But Adidas are the ones tougher.
Yeah, Nike's been so. Nike's been so overpopulated with the Brazilians, the French back in the day.
Yeah,
populated. And I was always been an Adidas man. I love my Adidas. Yeah. I don't mind Nike, don't hate it, but I just like my Adidas clothes and stuff like that. I just always been into the other side of things. Stevie G and others.
How about you, 12? 12 looks like a Nike man.
It looks like a Nike.
Oh, see,
he looks like a Nike guy.
What's that all about? That's
well, we never have any British
because I'm American,
right? And then we have Reebok.
Discrimination.
Actually, a British.
Reebok. Yeah, I never liked Reebok.
All right, but I never really liked them. I'm not that keen on the Reebok stripe.
Same. I've got the trainers.
Never had much time for it. I have had a few pairs, but
same.
I've got Predators now. Adidas. They're bad.
Exactly. You come over to the right side. Yeah, really JK. Nice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know the drill. AstroTurf, they got some great Astro. I used to play 6-a-side AstroTurf, and then I'll get a little design. It's Adidas are the one for that. But just quickly on what's his name, Joshua Ibe. I know was it Armchair? I think I know you mentioned he rejected. Man City offered him a 60K a week contract. Past Barcelona offered him similar amounts, and he chose to stay with us, which is good. All bodes well, hopefully for more youth players in the future. And it's just a shame now that Iraola's like. I wonder. I mean, it's a bit of an off-key shout, and I know this is not going to happen, but I just wondered if we could get Morton back.
Yeah, and the thing is, bro, what you said just there. Imagine the only reason that lad didn't go to Man City or Real Madrid right now is because Trent's brother's like, if he goes now, it will probably be a couple of million, 5 million, if that. And he's not going to really get paid. So if he stays at Liverpool for 4, 5, 6 years, and then he's worth 180, 90 million or whatever it is, depends on him. Then they're going to get hence why that's the only reason why Trent's brother didn't let him go now. Simple as. It ain't like, oh, you know what, he'd stay at Liverpool's a better club. We love Liverpool still. You know what, stay at Liverpool is better for you. No. He's thinking business wise. This guy, if he goes now, he ain't going to get the next major move after that. So that's a business move from Trent, because he's his agent, isn't he? So he's thinking that way. Yeah. How can you let him be his agent? You know what I mean? I don't understand that.
Well, it is actually a hope for the future because we've got Rio, who's right at the point where he's in the first team now. He's been playing for the first team, and then this guy, hopefully, like in a season or so's time, will be ready to make his bow. Then, make his debut and that. And hopefully, we'll be in a place where we'll be able to just assimilate new young players better. Because last season was hopeless for that. He couldn't really play the young lad. That was a shame for the younger players in the squad last season. We were playing so shit that we couldn't afford to blood them because it didn't matter what competition it was in. There were no easy games for us last season, and we couldn't really play youngsters the way you normally do in seasons gone by when things were going well. That was markedly different last season, and hopefully it won't be that way. In coming seasons, hopefully we'll be on the up, and Rio's star will rise, hopefully.
And Trey. I hope Trey gets more starts this season. Yeah. And he's been very disrespectful.
Yeah, that's an area where we're needing players, isn't it? Midfield. So if Iraola thinks, can make something additional.
Yeah. So if Jones or Mac goes, as long as Trey gets the minutes, and I'm not going to be too fast because, again, Slot, as we know, he mistreated the youth. I mean, and he didn't use them when Mac can grab it out of form, even Case Jones to an extent. He just left Trey there for bang to right, and I just hope he gets the time to express himself like Rio has. Well, he didn't. He just kind of forced him in because injuries, and then the hype was too much. So I hope Trey just gets the middle and just makes his, solidifies himself in the squad.
Needs to put a bit of weight on Trey, I reckon. He looks really small. I know he's still young on that, but put a bit of weight on. But passing wise, I tell you the truth, very good. Trey, very good at passing. Every game I watch, I'm like, yo, this brother, even pre-season, he was passing. I was like, yo, this guy's really good at passing. I didn't know that was his game. So, yeah, put some weight on, lad. Eat some Indian food, whatever you got to do. Just put some jerk chicken and that, dumplings, all that. Put some weight on, man. Because you'll need it. You'll burn off anyway.
Jake,
you've seen Rio. Rio's actually strong. When you look at Rio, when you watch the games, they've always got two mans on him. And they're like double his size. But still, he sort of fends them off. So he's a strong little unit, Rio. Fair play to him, man.
In that sense, this season being a bit shit, and when he's come in, we were playing shit, has been good for him, because he's been the best thing on the pitch when he's come on, and it really shows. So in a season where we're playing better, and he'll have more room to run into, and that hopefully at the right times, hopefully he'll be devastating, because he's got some finishes in him already. We've seen his finishing, can be tasty, and so he's had some real near misses as well, when he's been on the pitch. So it's all looking good from Rio's point of view, and hopefully Trey can benefit from a new start, with a new manager and a new season that's giving us more so we can blood young players like in the early rounds of the cup as is tradition.
Agreed.
The FA Cup was a no-go because Arnie Slot messed it up the first season. Second season, he started Van Dijk against. I don't know, who did we play first round? Third round?
Barnsley.
Yeah, it was a weak team. Barnsley, yeah. Virgil started that game.
Oh, yeah, FA Cup, you mean?
Because he didn't want to fuck it up again. Arnie Slot didn't
Well, I
want to fuck it up
remember
third
before
round.
the game, people were saying, what's your line-up? And I said, Virgil. And they were going, why play Virgil? I was like, mate, I'm not confident enough not to. You know, the alternatives just weren't good enough for me. So, yeah, I wanted them to play that game. But it's like we said before, he plays every minute of every Premier League game. That's why I want to see his minutes managed next season. You know, not in a sort of way that he finds like condescending or anything from the management, like, but I want them to have a real good look at resting Virgil sometimes next season, so we can hopefully go on to re-sign and have another year. Because looking at him physically, he's well capable of it, and if we get the partnership and all the bits right around him, then he's got more in him. I think, like I said before, I would like him to pack in the international scene, even though it's dear to him. At the age he is now, he's got to look at it and say, in 4 years' time, will I be around, like, on the international scene? He could be, but it really helped us and his chances of prolonging his club career in the way Milner did by jibbing the England squad. Because remember I said before, Milner, he plays sometimes, got a few games, but he looked at it and thought, sod this, I can pack this in. And his club careers, like, got better immediately, like, you know what I mean? Because he didn't have things to focus on. He did it about 29, Milner, when he jibbed off England, and it was one of the best things he ever did for his career, like, from my point of view.
True, very true. Rio is AR's type of player. Okay. Definitely so. Can't believe how quickly the time has moved. We are already at way past the 2-hour mark. Time flies when you're having fun, but I have a moment of red zen for us. You know, football has always had a funny way of rewarding courage, I think. The great Champions League winners attack. They impose themselves, they make history, and then there's Arsenal. For years, we've been told this is a generational side by some of these Arsenal fans. We've been told comparing Saka to Salah. We've been comparing Saliba to VVD, Arteta to Klopp.
The tea lady.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yes, but we've been told that Mikel Arteta is a genius, and told they were building the next European powerhouse. Yet, in the biggest game in club football arrived, they scored early, and then retreated into a low block. Spent the rest of the night trying to survive. They didn't dominate. They didn't show any legacy. They didn't show any damage limitation. Basically that's what they were trying to do, is the damage limitation from a team they knew they were not better than.
Yeah, them scoring early was a bad thing, but from the point of view that, like, they thought they were going to escape with the crown jewels from Paris, like, it turns out being good and even more fun for those of us watching who didn't want them to win. So the penalty shootout, like, and all that, because they thought they might be able to do it for a while, didn't they? They scored. Great goal, great finish from Havertz, one of the best finishes I've seen in the Champions League final for a while, stunner. But yeah, the way they went about it then was typical Arsenal. We knew they were all going to retreat, and it was the worst thing for the game as a spectacle. But they did exactly what everyone thought they would and got what they deserved. And most of the football in Wales agreed they got what they deserved, which was nothing at all. From that final. Well,
maybe that's why it felt fitting, I think, that the Champions League trophy slipped away the way it did. And that's probably because if Arsenal has somehow won Europeans' biggest prize playing the brand of anti-football that they do, it would have felt like a triumph and felt less like a triumph and more like a heist, I think. The Premier League title already has rivals questioning whether Arsenal won it through brilliance or simply by grinding every match into a war of attrition. But the Champions League, that was where football eventually asked you a simple question: can you impose yourself on the biggest stage? PSG could, Arsenal couldn't. And that's why, for all the talk, all the hype, all the celebrations, Europe still belongs to somebody else. So, for my moment of Red Zen, I have included.
I have a sneaking suspicion what we're going to say.
I have included the fact that we did not see this happen in the Champions League.
I love it, mate.
United.
That's brilliant. That is top drawer entertainment right there. Great Photoshop. That of Arteta, his hamburger left. But yeah, that's definitely funny, that, mate. Isn't it?
That's funny.
If
You know what?
Arteta,
Shoes on though, instead of those like red pumps, they put like a pair of like shoes on them. Like it was a little funny, I reckon. But that's a cracker, that.
well done, well done. They've won the Premier League. I give them that. That's something. That's something that no one will be able to take away from them. But if they had won the Champions League, that would have been something of a head scratch. That would have been when football died.
That's why that Saturday was special. That Saturday, Arnie in the morning, them not in the evening. Job done.
Yeah. If
This fans needed that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if Arteta ever wins the Champions League playing football the way that Arsenal does, we will have to call the police, because that is a robbery, and he is definitely the Hamburglar. So with that said, I hope that you guys enjoy your little moment of Red Zen. I'm going to let the guys say peace out. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, thanks, and cheers for putting that up, because it's really funny. That I think that's a cracking little meme. I think they call these things.
Yeah.
But I mean, the welcome to the Premier League in a certain sense. From the way I look at it, like good football, but it got them the results, and it was a departure in the sense that now City have gone without it for 2 seasons. That was enough to hasten Pep Guardiola's departure, which was something I also wanted from this summer. It happened. So let's see where we are. Get this guy up against Iraola, and then he'll have what's his name, Alonso and De Zerbi and Emery, and that to fight against Tony as well next season. Let's see how they handle the mantle of champions of England. We struggled this season, like teams were out to get us, and they did get us.
They did.
Yeah,
I'll say this. I'll say this, Lee, real quick. I'll say that I'm hoping that possibly the entity that ended up getting possibly Player of the Year for Arsenal, the PGMOL, absolutely take a little bit more accountability. They make a more recognition of as to what is allowed in these corner kicks. They police them better, and they regulate the way that football has become long throw-ins and corner kicks. And then when you play in Europe, albeit, Arsenal had one of the most blessed pathways to the Champions League final, by the way. I think they played maybe one team of merit on their road there. But all the same, and they got to play them at home. But all I can say is that hopefully next year we have defined rules that are going to be administered and going to be held accountable to all teams, not to the 18 assisted VAR assisted teams of London's Arsenal, but to all teams. I'm hoping, and I'm just glad that this didn't happen. If they'd won the Champions League, I probably would have had to take a break from football for a while. But Nalante, please do give the people a shout.
Yeah, just as per usual, big up everyone in the chat. It's been a horrible season, not a great season. Viva la Paris, les Français, PSG, les Français. But we start with a new era.
Okay. Okay.
Ronaldo loves his language.
I know he does.
Yes, he does. Yeah, we, Mama JK.
Yeah, these
We
Jamaicans
sure,
got
we sure,
patois coming
JK.
next.
Yeah, exactly. You want to go to that, but I won't. We digress.
Wicked.
But we go to the era, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any ladies who are shy, talk is a man who opens his just to all kinds of life. So any women that Liverpool supporters, please state your name.
What? What are you doing?
Sorry. No, I'm joking. No, I'm
It's a
joking.
date night, 12
I
months.
know.
It's a date night.
It might be Friday, but
Not on my channel.
yeah, what's going on?
Hey, it's all right. Date nights only for Lee. Lee's available for date nights, aren't you, Lee?
No, Stacey's put an end to that, hasn't she? Like, so they can't see
No, but-
anyone else.
hold
It's gotta
on.
be anonymous.
But Lee, you moved on, haven't you? I heard you moved on, haven't you, from Tracy? She's old news.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You got bigger,
That's
better
last
things,
season's
Lee.
news.
See?
Yeah.
You're nearing full bad. But yeah, look, we're in the new era. Iraola, respective of what I think. And again, same as like he's not my choice. I wanted Emery out of Iraola, but he's here and hopefully he brings the values. And listen, look, next season, and whatever the pundits will say, Arsenal, I can't stand this Arsenal will dominate nonsense because I don't think they'll win the league next season. And honestly, I don't know who will win it. I think it's all up in the air. All the managers are all young. They're all next like 42, 43. They're all the same age range. It's going to be interesting. And who knows, man? Let's just get some stability. You know, Hughes and Edwards, put your fingers up your asses and just start doing sensible stuff and letting players leave on contracts and all this politics, man. Let's get back to being the team we be and we move. And my next thought is the World Cup. That's what I'm excited for. So yeah, pick up everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Blessings.
Okay.
Top.
Go ahead, JK.
Yeah, bro. When does the transfer window open? Actually, is it open now?
Yeah, it's
No.
open. Yeah.
Because I heard something
no,
else
it
that's
is.
not even open, like officially open yet. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Always the
It is officially open, yeah.
I thought it opened when the seasons ended, when all the
That's what I
main
thought.
seasons ended, yeah. It's just opened. Don't know, I could be wrong.
No, it's June
1st of
15th.
July. Oh, June
June?
15th.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I said it ain't really officially opened yet.
No.
Hence why, like the World Cup starts on the 11th.
Was it the 13th? The World Cup.
Is it?
You can't.
It's on
You can
Thursday.
make. I mean, like you can make deals, but you can't officially.
Yeah, you can't
announce it.
officially until after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 11th. Starts on the 11th.
Oh, it was
so
11, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So that's cool. I love to get that Fernandez and Diamande in. If we're gonna go with Diamande, get them two in straight away. That'd be cool.
Mhm.
You bless up the chat as always. The panel is good to have everyone together again after such a long time, man. That's what Arnie Slot did to us. Brothers are going their own ways, you know what I mean? But now, good luck to the new manager. Hope he does his homework and sits down with, say, Steven Gerrard and all these type of guys and learns the history, the foundations, what makes a Liverpool manager, you know? So bless up everyone. Eric as well in the chat, Red Armchair.
Yeah, pick up Eric.
Abdul.
Everyone. All of you, man. Real ones.
Helio. Tamizi, is it? Yeah, Tamizi, yeah, man.
And Izzy, yeah. Got the Coppish #1 correspondent inside the woods.
Yeah. Big up to everyone joined us. Still rocking with us from the very start. It's been 2.5 hours of a TGIF of a celebration of the number 8. And wanted to say shout to my boy Andy Robbo. We wish you the best. I know that he's made it official that he will be joining Tottenham.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, it's a tough.
What are you going there for, bro?
Tough sell. But I mean, yeah,
Not
I will
tough.
admit, if there is a player that can at least help them,
Lead one.
yeah, at least help them on remain
To get
in the
relegated.
Premier League. Yeah,
They get definitely relegated
yeah.
next
if
season.
you-
Andy, it's your job, bro. Get it done.
Sorry, haven't they? The
Good
last
job, Andy.
seasons, they've gone as close as they probably ever care to get with it. Like, so I was expecting improvement from next season under De Zerbi, but yeah, I think the yeah, I mean, I'm expecting to get better next season, like Spurs. Thingy wasn't gone to Spurs yet. Senesi from Bournemouth, the Argentinian centre half.
He's
So
near
there's a
enough
deal
gone.
when the window finally opens, then in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully, Iraola will just steam because he's free. It's not like we're going in and like making him his contracts up, like, and he'll be moving on somewhere. Why not here to replace the outbound Ibu who also went free? Makes sense to me.
No, he's done, Lee. He's done. He's done, Lee. He's just Spurs confirming. That's all. Yeah, he's
Is it
done.
like
Yeah. He's done. Yeah.
Oh well, we'll cope anyway. We'll find
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
Cope. Well,
Cope and hope.
cope and hope, people. That's what is
Cope
being
and
told. I'm going to say I hope everyone has a very enjoyable weekend. Make the most of your Friday, and we will be back Saturday with another episode. I have the episode ready to rock and roll, so we'll be back Saturday with another episode ready for you. A little breakdown on our coach and what we can expect to witness in this system that we are returning to, hopefully. So hope everyone has a good night, and big up the Reds, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.